cut down on a lot of affirmation bias. Not only that, when you have Black American police officers that come from Black American neighborhoods and that are actually working in the neighborhoods that they are from or have spent time in, a lot of times they know who the real Pookies are. And they may have a rapport with those Pookies or Pookies in the making, and they better know how to communicate and deal with them. You know, a lot of times you'll see, a little Pookie in the making. He's standing around with some other certified Pookies and stuff. That police officer can walk up to him and say, hey, look, Tyrone, you better hurry up and get home before I have a talk with Big Mama or something like that. And, that may run him off, to, get away from that circle, especially if that group is plotting to get involved with something that could possibly be criminal in nature, or they can see a group of guys and say, okay, all right, that's pretty much a group of Urkels or Melvins, and they ain't really on nothing. They, them guys is just talking, and they're on their way somewhere to go either have some fun, or they're on their way somewhere to, go basically mind their business. They are not an immediate concern. They are not, they're not plotting to do something that will ultimately be nefarious. So, so that's one of the biggest answers. You have qualified Black Americans that can be in the police force, that can go out and be effective at their job and serve the people and enforce the laws in a fair and equitable manner. So I think there should be more hiring. A second issue with policing in America is that I don't think there's enough vetting white police officers, because they outnumber everyone else in all levels of police organizations. I don't think a strong enough vetting process is done. So, and a lot of the hiring comes from the hiringism and the good old boy club. Dan lives down the block from me, his kids play with my kids, so I think he would be great for this position. And Dan might be a crank. Or he may be inept when it comes to that particular job, but because Dan is good with the chief of police or some other administrator, Dan is able to be put in a position that he might not deserve. So there needs to be better vetting in hiring and promotions. So because of the good old boy network and because of nepotism and things like that, you have clowns rising to the top levels of police organizations, and they're out making decisions, and they are out pushing tactics and procedures that may be ultimately negative to certain populations that they work with. Funny thing is that they don't go in predominantly white areas and pull some of that stuff, because they know that not only will they be held accountable if something goes bad administratively and possibly criminally, they also have the pressure of the neighborhoods. They also have the pressure of the surrounding community, because they know exactly who this person is. They know who that person's wife and kids are. They know where this person goes to church. They know where this person goes and hangs out at, on their off time and stuff like that. They know how to get in touch with this person and go, hey, what are you doing, clown? So there's another level of accountability that when they go to black areas, that level of accountability is likely not there. So, um, you know, you got to have that, and you know, you got to have more black police officers. You got to have more black males. You know, there's this push for more black females in policing. The problem is, which it's a good thing that women are getting involved in law enforcement. The bad thing is that when women have to deal with real criminals, you know, they are often at a disadvantage with physical strength and stuff, and so they're quicker to resort to using tools for control and methods of control that may be too much, that may be excessive, and or that may be counterproductive to what they have to do in order. And a lot of this is done in that thinking that I am weaker and I don't want to get hurt, which are legit concerns, you know, and you know, they may pull a gun when a good slap upside the head, a good, you know, blow to the jaw might, you know, might fix that situation, and people are less likely to get hurt, you know. You look at that situation in Texas where that guy was shot in his own apartment. I mean, besides all of the other stuff that was wrong with that, I think had that been a male on male incident, it likely would have turned out different. Might have been some fighting, you know, physical attempts to restrain the person that, you know, that female police officer mistakenly thought was breaking into her house. It possibly could have came out different. Admittedly, I'm armchair quarterbacking. You know, it could have wound up the same whether it was male or female, but I think I think there exists a lot of likelihood had that been male on male, the possibility of it not coming out as violent as it did, and as deadly as it did, would exist. But because it was male on female, the female immediately went to shoot. So, you know, but that's just my opinion, which don't mean much in the grander scheme of things. Anyway, you know, those are some of the things I think would fix modern policing. Another thing is that a lot of police departments tend not to like to hire and promote military veterans, which I think is a mistake. One big department in the Chicagoland area in particular, they don't like to hire or promote active military members, which, you know, that is a violation of federal law, and hopefully they get caught and they pay for that both financially and through other restitution. But a lot of these departments are leery of hiring military reservists or veterans, you know, out of this PTSD stigma, which is sad, and which is discriminatory, and which actually is counterproductive. Think about people coming out of the military, men and women. They're used to dealing with organizational structure. They're used to dealing with different populations because the U.S. military, you know, it's one of the places where a young person coming from a predominantly white area will come into contact with blacks and other populations in the U.S. who will work alongside them and who are in positions of authority. One of the biggest places that Black American men can have career advancement opportunities is the military, all branches. You know, in fact, Black American males are overrepresented in contrast to the population in military service. Black American men serve their country. They go to the military. They get skills. They advance in careers. And it is a great vehicle for Black American males to make something of themselves and become contributing members of the greater U.S. society. And because of this, the military is a great place really for all men to work with men from other populations. And, like I said before, dealing with the organizational structure, dealing with issues of use of force and escalation of force, being accountable to the federal government, because make no mistake, the U.S. Military is a part of the federal government, and they deal with they have their own form of military justice, uniform code of military justice, and it's a lot more restrictive than the laws outside of the military. So they tend to have a greater sense of restraint when it comes to using violence, and using violence in an organized manner, using force in an organized manner. And not only that, because they have to deal with different populations in different countries altogether, it is not unusual for them to have the skill set to not only be able to deal with different populations in the U.S., but to also have skills such as being able to speak the languages and being able to identify certain things accurately in different populations, So I think hiring more military veterans is a good thing for a lot of police departments, despite how they usually operate. The truth is, a lot of these departments don't want to deal with military veterans or military service members because of issues that scheduling conflicts, that where military service may conflict with the duties that these departments want, and staffing, so forth and so on. But ultimately there are laws against this, and when these departments are caught, they should pay. Absolutely, they should pay. So that's another issue that may help with policing, is to for there to be more watchdog groups to watch the hiring and promotion process when it comes to military service members and military veterans within police organizations. For all you military service members and veterans who are in law enforcement, learn USARA. If you're in Illinois, learn ISARA, which is Illinois' version of USARA, to protect your rights when dealing with these police administrators, many of them who are not and who have never been in military service. Learn your rights so that you can protect yourself if you are hired or if you're discriminated against for hiring with police departments. Learn your rights so that you can protect yourself, and so that you can enforce these people to do the right thing. That's something that's not talked about, that should be talked about more. Anyway, I'm going to end this short stream. This is Mr. Royce Media. Like, share, and subscribe. Get in the comment section. Trolls, get in the comment section and bitch and moan like you usually do. I'm going to be putting up more content so that, I can talk with the people a little more, share my thoughts, make fun of you guys with some of this stuff, or even, big up some of the things that I think that are happening right and that need to happen more. This is Mr. Royce of Royce Media, and I'm out.